He suffered 4 days ago. There are, however, positive signs for Tagovailoa, notes ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
I'm told Tua is in the building today. He's doing very well. I'm told his follow-up MRI came back clean, so all the signs are positive, but he's going to take a while through the concussion protocol, obviously ruled out this week, and the Dolphins are simply not going to rush him out into the field probably anytime soon, but they're going to take it day by day, and everything has been positive so far with the way he's feeling.
Investigations into concussion protocols in Tua are ongoing. Broncos running back Javonte Williams will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL and MCL in his right knee. Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard and defensive lineman Tyquan Lewis will not play Thursday night against Denver due to concussion symptoms. Tests on running back Jonathan Taylor's ankle were negative. He does have a chance to play. Alabama star quarterback Bryce Young is day-to-day with a shoulder injury.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts? Who do you want?
I'm probably going to lean toward Dak Prescott because of the years that he's already been in the league.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
If you haven't.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers went to the Plains, and they got it done.
So another snap and another knee. Nussmeier celebrates with the Tigers as the final 10 seconds will roll off the clock here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And LSU picks up a hard-fought victory to move to 2-0 in SEC play. The horn sounds. This one's in the books. LSU with the win, 21-17, snapping a two-game win streak in this series by Auburn. LSU with the win, moves to 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in SEC play.
Chris Blair on the call on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Tigers go to Auburn and they get it done, 21-17. We'll talk plenty about it. Cole Cubelic next hour. Maddy Hudak will be here in hour number 3 as the Saints not quite as fortunate. They fall for the third straight time Sunday in London. We'll get to that. If I told you on Friday that LSU was going to trail 17-0, that Robbie Ashford was going to throw for 337 yards, that LSU would pass for just 85 yards, and that Jaden Daniels would miss the fourth quarter, you probably would not have thought the result would have been kind for the good guys in purple and gold. But that is a great illustration of what this team is becoming. And I'll reiterate, team's not going to win any championships. They're going to lose games, plural, the rest of the way. But what you are undeniably seeing, when you get down 17-0 on the road at a place like Jordan-Hare, and it's not going well for you offensively, and you find a way to make plays to win the game, when you're down 17-0 and B.J. Ojulari makes a play, strip sack, fumble, scoop and score by Jay Ward, and you're on the board. When Auburn has the ball, hoping for maybe some theatrics or heroics late in the ball game, and Greg Brooks, a veteran dude, just rips the ball out of Coy Moore's hands, just takes it away from him to seal the game, you have tremendous buy-in on this team, on this roster. That much is undeniable at this point with this team. I mean, it is actually really fun to watch how this thing is unfolding. And that was not the case a year ago, y'all. When LSU went to Kentucky, they trailed that game 35-7. Things went bad early, and they never got better. That team did not get off the mat. Same thing a year ago when LSU went to Ole Miss. They got down. The snowball just kept rolling downhill. This is 3 times now we've seen this team get down. They got down to Florida State. They got down to Mississippi State. They got down to Auburn. They almost rallied against Florida State. I mean, they were a block PAT away from sending that thing to overtime. They did finish the rally against Mississippi State, and obviously they did on the road against Auburn. There is something to be said for that. Now, as Brian Kelly was pretty clear on Monday, you can't keep doing that. Look, play number 2, Muse. Brian Kelly was pretty clear. You can't keep getting down and thinking that's going to be enough.
I'm going to say this, and I'll talk to our team about it a little bit later. You know, it's pretty clear this team plays with great heart, and they'll fight. But heart and fight will not win games against the opponents that we're going to have over the next month or so. We're going to have better execution. We're going to have to coach better. And those things we're going to have to be on display starting this weekend against an outstanding Tennessee football team.
He's right. But anytime you go win at Auburn, you celebrate that. And we talked about it all last week. A lot of y'all thought that was going to be a cakewalk, and I sat here all week and look, this ain't a victory lap. It's just the reality. It's hard to win on the road in the SEC. I don't care where it is. It's hard to win at Auburn. It's hard to win at Florida. It's hard to win at Texas A&M. It's hard to win at Mississippi State, at Ole Miss. LSU lost last year at Kentucky. It's hard to win on the road in this league. Ask Georgia, who just went to Columbia, Missouri, and had all they freaking wanted and needed a 2-touchdown fourth-quarter rally to beat Missouri. Missouri. The Missouri that got blasted by Kansas State, Missouri. A couple of takeaways from the game. First and foremost, I think the most important thing from this game is you found your running game. You threw for 85 yards. You threw for 85 yards in the ball game. You ran it for 185. You ran it for 4 yards a carry. I'm not sitting here telling you that it was Auburn Cam Newton 2010 when they ran for 440. But when you had to have it, when your passing game wasn't there, when everybody knew you were going to run it, look at the end of the ballgame. Yo, after the takeaway by Greg Brooks, you needed a first down to ice the game. You ran it 3 straight times with Josh Williams right up the gut. They knew it was coming and couldn't stop it. That's something this team a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago couldn't do. I mean, I've sat here and told you, look, Jaden Daniels is going to be your leading rusher. And had he not been injured, he probably would have been your leading rusher, but that's inconsequential because the point that I had been making was you can't run the ball. So Jaden is going to be your leading runner out of necessity. Busted plays, scrambles, all that sort of stuff. Oh, brother, you ran the ball. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that was Fournette in 2017 or 2015. This wasn't like an overwhelming performance, but that was more than competent enough of running the football when you needed to do it, when everyone in the building knew you were going to run the ball and you were able to do it successfully. That's moving bodies, and that was without Garrett Dellinger. That was with Miles Frazier at left guard. Now, it wasn't perfect. Brian Kelly detailed look on John Emery's fumble. I mean, you had 2 offensive linemen collide. As Brian Kelly said, half the line went left, half the line went right. I mean, it was a disaster. And there were some of those moments. But that's to be expected as you continue to learn and go through those sort of growing pains. But John Emery, how long have we talked about it? I don't need John Emery to carry 18 times for 100 yards. What I need is John Emery who's capable of busting the big one to give me the chunk play, and he did it twice. A 39-yard catch and run on a wheel route that got you down to the 1-yard line. Ultimately, you'd punch it in and take your first lead of the game. And John Emery, that got you closer at halftime. And then John Emery, of course, busted the 20-yard touchdown run where he shed a tackle in the backfield, split two defenders, and high-stepped his way into the end zone. He gave you 2 chunk plays that ended up netting you 14 points. That's what I needed to see from John Emery. At times when you needed Josh Williams to get you tough yards, he did. Noah Cain only carried 5 times, but he ran for 21 yards, averaged more than 4 yards a carry. Big dude, fresh legs, closer late in the game. You can see how it's developing. That's one thing that was massive. The other was the second half shutout. You did it to Mississippi State. Now you did it to Auburn in their building. Y'all, it's a massive hat tip to Matt House with what he's doing with this defense. Look, you had a couple of coverage busts early, and they were ugly. It netted a 53-yard touchdown for Auburn on their first possession. And the second score came after a 61-yard catch and run. And you never want to see those things. Obviously, it was Jarquez Hunter, which which polished off the 99-yard touchdown drive. But the second half adjustments by this defense are real, and you saw it again. A couple of other things that I noticed in the game, and yes, of course, something we're going to talk a ton about is you got to get more progress, more production in the passing game. Kayshon Boutte had 1 reception for 4 yards. You didn't get Jack Besh involved. 1 catch for 2 yards. You threw it for 85. Name the player. Nobody had a good day catching the football because you just didn't have a good day throwing and catching. But a couple of things that we have clearly learned. You found yourself, your starting linebackers. I don't know if you noticed, but Mike Jones and West Weeks didn't go into the ball game until the first play of that 99-yard drive. And it was, your starters in this ball game were Micah Baskerville, Greg Penn, and, of course, Harold Perkins, who continues to be a freak show. You have very clearly seen the differentiation in your linebackers. And Mike Jones and West Weeks are going to be rotational guys. Your starters are solidified. In the second half, you saw Jones and Weeks come in after LSU took the lead on John Emery's run to go up 21-17. Auburn put together back-to-back first down plays, and then Baskerville was on the field. The first play Baskerville was back on the field was when he jumped up and nearly intercepted the ball right over the middle where he read the quarterback perfectly, and those linebackers stay in the game the rest of the game. So you are starting to see certain things work themselves out. You're seeing your running back rotation. You know your linebacker order right now and who is where. Your secondary you feel really good about. Well, Jark Bernard Converse had a really good game as well. You're 5 weeks in. You're 5 games in. You're 4-1. You're learning more about yourself. Yes, you got to get more production out of the passing game. Yes, you got to be better on special teams, which you continue to have issues pop up. You had 4 penalties. 4 penalties on special teams in the first half. Every week it's a different issue. And you've got to iron those out because the third phase for LSU has been anything but special. But you're continuing to see the team get better and better and better and better and week by week by week. So you got a massive test this week with Tennessee coming in. When you sit here on a Monday after LSU goes on the road and beats Auburn 21-17, where you overcame a 17-point lead, a 17-point deficit, it's a pretty good Monday to be sitting here. So Tigers 2-0 in the league, 4-1 overall. They welcome in Tennessee for an 11 a.m. kickoff Saturday in Tiger Stadium. We'll talk about it all week. All right, it's after further review. We'll get into much more about the game. If you've got calls, texts, emails, tweets you want to work in, you can. I do want to talk more about Garrett Nussmeier, who got to play in the fourth quarter. We'll get to that as well. All right, it's after further review. I'm talking about, remind you about Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com. That's Schutz Electric. Whole home generators from Generac. Schutz Electric, they are experts. They have a whole generator division. That's what they do. They install these whole home generators. So when the power goes out, your generator pops on and powers your whole house. It's Schutz Electric. It's affordable. Financing is available. And working with Schutz was incredible. I personally had an incredible customer service experience. After Ida last year, we said enough, had our whole home generator installed, and we are thrilled. You can be as well at Schutz Electric. Look them up online, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com for Schutz Electric. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll talk about whatever that was that happened in London yesterday when we returned to AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Frustrating way to end that game. We had our chances. Thought our guys battled back in the second half. Thought we made too many mistakes in the first half, which put us behind. But I thought our guys battled and competed. We still got to find a way not to hurt ourselves with penalties and the turnovers, and that's got to change. So we got to figure that out.
Well, the Saints lost again, and they stink, and they may be headed for like a worse team in the NFL type season. But if you need something to make you feel better about yourself, you can go watch the Midnight Yell video from Texas A&M's Midnight Yell that I tweeted. The tweet We'll talk about it later. Maybe play some of it for you. Oh, what the hell? Let's just laugh at him right now. Play this audio, Muse. Here we go again.
Army. I bet you they don't even know how to say Mississippi.
What's the difference between a smart Mississippi State student and Bigfoot? Bigfoot has been sighted.
So they did. So I tweeted that video and from Midnight Yell. It's been liked 2,200 times. It's been quote tweeted 219 times. It's been retweeted 233 times. The video has been seen 166,000 times already, and it's been less than 24 hours. At least you're not Texas A&M, who got drilled by Mississippi State, which I cashed that ticket. I didn't cash a lot of tickets. I cashed that one. Cashed UCLA on Friday night. Clemson. Yeah, that was like it. I think I missed about when you go back and look, I think I might have actually had a good day. I lost on Arkansas. Had them in the 17th.
Yeah, that was. They tried, man. They tried to backdoor it there, and then they didn't try.
All you need was for Bryce Young to go out the game.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then the other guy who's a freak show just started running for 70 yards at a pop. Yeah, him and the kid who was the running back at Georgia Tech. Imagine that. All right, let me get into the Saints game here. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. It's GMFS Mortgage. Of course, the Fed bumped interest rates last week. If you're worried, thinking, maybe not a great time with interest rates up. No. In many cases, it's still cheaper to buy than to rent. Talk to a local loan officer about that. And then whenever rates inevitably fall again, refi. It's GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives. All right, so the Saints lose on Sunday in London. How miserable of a weekend for that. Went to bed late on Saturday after doing whiskey and wine. Woke up early on Sunday, did a companion show for the Saints and Vikings, and all the emotions that you would expect you'd feel after a game like that, I did. So Saints lose 28-25. They lose their third in a row. They're 1-5 on the season. 1-3 on the season, They're 1-3 on the season. They've lost 3 in a row. Now they fly home today on Monday. They'll probably use all day Tuesday to get their body clocks back right. And then on Wednesday, start getting ready for Seattle coming in on Sunday, who all of a sudden, behind Geno Smith, have found themselves offensively. And the Saints better find themselves, because if you don't get this game against Seattle, and you start 1-4, and then you're staring down Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, then a short week road trip to Arizona, then back home against Lamar Jackson, and then the Steelers, or the Raiders, and then you're at the Steelers. I mean, you are looking at potentially one of those worst team in the NFL type seasons if they don't get things in this ship righted quickly. And some people may look at this and say, yeah, Matt, but look, we've seen this before with the Saints. We've seen them struggle out the gate before. The 2012 Bountygate year, of course, 2014, 15, 16. I mean, that was a very common theme with those seasons. The back-to-back-to-back 7-9 seasons was that the Saints started slowly out the gate. And when they started slowly out the gate, then ultimately they caught they caught up, but they expended so much energy trying to get themselves back right that they fizzled down the stretch. 2014, they started 0-2. They won week 3, then lost week 4. So they started 1-3 out the gate. And then it was like win one, lose 2, win 2. And they just volleyed back and forth. And ultimately, that's how you ended up 7-9. But the difference is then you had Drew Brees and Sean Payton. And even with those teams that were void of talent in a lot of spots, you got to 7-9 because of Brees and Payton. Without Brees and Payton, you would have been looking at 2-14. You don't have those two guys anymore. You don't have the safety net, the security blanket. You're looking at Dennis Allen, who's never had success as a head coach, and either Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton, who's never been elite in their career. It's not to say they can't play well at times and you don't have talent spots. You do. But every team has talent spots, even awful football teams. But like we often talk about, the margin is so small in the NFL. And right now, this is just not a good football team. And the worst part about this is you could say, all right, this team will take its lumps, but you're looking for your franchise in the next draft. You get it. That's what happens, right? You're a terrible team. You end up with a top 10 pick. You're in position to draft an elite quarterback and try to build around that young elite quarterback. Except your potential top 10 draft pick now resides with the Philadelphia Eagles in the trade that you made to acquire Chris Olave. So, y'all, I'll get into this game against Minnesota specifically, but what we saw again is what I feel like I say every week here. I feel like a broken record. In the NFL, the margin is too thin. You cannot continuously make mistakes that open the door for other teams to beat you. The game against the Bucs, you are running the football down their throat in a game where neither team could score. You're poised to take the lead. Mark Ingram fumbles at the 10-yard line. Fight ensues, game changes. Against Carolina's offense couldn't score. They're terrible. Alvin Kamara fumbles, scoop and score. You doink, or you get a field goal blocked, you miss a field goal. That's 13 points. You lost by 8. It's a 13-point swing right there when you gave them 13 points. And then your 2 fumbles yesterday in London. I mean, you're a professional. Hold on to the damn ball. It's not just one guy, it's all of them. Andy Dalton, 10-yard line right before halftime. You're thinking, all right, let's see if you can go get points right here. Go get points before half, double dip, come back, get the ball to start the second half, see if you can go back to back. Andy Dalton fumbles at the 10-yard line. You give them a field goal. Defense did great. Defense, time and time again, stepped up and held Minnesota to threes. I mean, that's what kept you in the ballgame, was the fact that your defense, after you were down 7-0, you tied it on the 4-yard pass of Olave. Minnesota hit 3 straight field goals. I mean, 4. Their next 4 scores were all field goals. Your defense did well enough to keep you in the ballgame time and time again, but you continuously gave up advantageous situations. Deontay Hardy, you get a punt, you're going to get the ball right there around midfield, great field position. He fumbles the damn punt. Defense stands up again, but they get 3 points out of it. If you just look at the 2 field goals that Minnesota got off of your 2 fumbles, that's a 6-point swing. 28-25, you lost by 3. There's your margin. You cannot commit the amount of penalties and have the amount of turnovers the Saints have. When you are dead last in the NFL in turnovers and penalties, you're not a good football team. You're not disciplined. You're not well coached. And this team is not disciplined. They are not well coached. And they are a bad football team. And in spite of that, at times they've had chances to win. And they did yesterday as well. I will give the Saints tremendous credit for their resolve, for coming back to rally, to take the lead. There was a couple of good things that I want to talk about, which we'll get to here in a second. But, of course, Taysom gets the touchdown run. You get the 2-point conversion to Jarvis Landry. It's 22-19. You take a lead in the fourth quarter with 9.5 to play, and it looks like you're off the field. You get the stop on 3rd down with about 5 and change to play, and they call illegal hands to the face on Tyrann Mathieu. We all know what happened after that. The pass interference down the field on Lattimore. Justin Jefferson would get the 3-yard run untouched around left end. I mean, good on Will Lutz for drilling the 60-yarder. If you just want to talk strategy, I hate kicking the 60-yarder there because it was a minute 51 and Minnesota had all 3 timeouts. I think you go for it on 4th down right there. You just know that you're going to put them in position to kick a game-winning field goal, which ultimately they did. They hit the big play to Jefferson down the middle. They kicked the field goal to go up 28-25. It's great reception by Olave to give the Saints an opportunity, to give Lutz an opportunity at the 61-yarder to tie it and send it to overtime, but it double doinked. But if you're focusing on the double doink today, if all you're doing is focusing on the penalties that were called against New Orleans late in the game, your anger, your frustration is misplaced. Because right now this is the team that is undisciplined. They don't protect the football. They cannot move the ball offensively. They committed 10 penalties for 102 yards. And yes, I know one of them was the PI. Quite honestly, I didn't have a problem with the PI. There was a ton of contact, and in this NFL, I expect that flag to be thrown. And yes, I know Thielen grabbed the front of Lattimore's face mask. Lattimore initiated the contact, and he had Thielen's right arm hooked. So I get it. Both guys have a right to the ball. There was a ton of contact right there. You expect if the shoe was on the other foot and you're a Saints fan and that's a Saints receiver, you're expecting that flag to be thrown. Okay? And please spare me the Nolan no call. I know all the history. I'm just talking in generalities. Like if that's your team, if the roles are reversed, you're expecting to get the flag right there. The one that I had a problem with was the awful call on the hands to the face on Tyrann Mathieu. That was a brutal call. It was a check on within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage on his shoulder pad. It's just to get a receiver off of his route, off of his timing. It happens in every play, every game, all the time. Terrible call by the ref. I'm with you. That's not why the Saints lost. The Saints lost because they're undisciplined. They turn the ball over. They have no semblance of an offensive identity or structure. And everything we thought with this team, where you're maintaining all of the continuity of the Peyton era, you're promoting Dennis Allen, you're keeping Pete Carmichael, you have a lot of the same players, you got veteran leadership in the locker room. Look, is that game different if Michael Thomas plays and Alvin Kamara plays and Marcus May plays? Maybe. But those guys played last week against Carolina. It did make a lick of difference. You are what you are at this point. Now, can you improve? Hopefully. Because if not, it's just going to keep getting a lot worse. I'll tell you, I thought I was extremely disappointed in Marshawn Lattimore's play. That's not exactly breaking news or anything, but Justin Jefferson, 10 catches for $147. Justin Jefferson on Marshawn Lattimore looked like a varsity high school kid going against a middle schooler. It was just, it wasn't just that he was winning contested one-on-ones. He was dusting Marshawn Lattimore. The separation he was getting was yards of separation. These were not even contested catches. It's incredible what Jefferson did yesterday. And the one hand, of course, as a guy who loves Jefferson, he's from New Orleans, played at LSU. I love it, but I hate that it came against the Saints. Andy Dalton, I thought, was efficient in the ball game. 20 of 28 for 236 and a score. The fumble at the 10-yard line was heinous, especially for a guy that's played as much as Andy Dalton did. I don't think they really let him stretch the field very much. The deep ball, the 50-yarder he threw to Olave, down the middle to get the Saints in position to attempt the 61-yarder. Olave made a hell of a play. But other than that, I can't really tell you that I thought Andy Dalton wowed in any way. Clearly, if he's healthy, he's your best option with an injured Jameis. If Jameis is healthy, I think Jameis is your guy. You at least give him the opportunity to be. Maybe the best thing to come out of yesterday was Latavius Murray. He carried it 11 times for 57 yards for a guy that's in his early 30s. He was 32 years old. I'm not telling you that he's drinking from the fountain of youth. It's probably a situation where guy with fresh legs, first game he's played this year, since last season, and you only asked him to carry it 11 times. Now, how does that look if it's week? If it's game 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10? I'm sure he wears down. That's what we see. But can you ask him to be fresh legs coming off the bench? Maybe, and he certainly looked good in that role. He looked better than Mark Ingram has. If Kamara comes back, I'd rather Murray than Mark Ingram, quite honestly. So, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's exceedingly disappointing because you don't see, the cavalry's not on the way. It's not like, just hang on until ... This is a bad team. They're poorly coached. They're undisciplined. And I don't know that those are things that you just fix. And with the schedule ahead, we looked at it and said, hey, through those first 5, you got to be 3-2. You have to have a winning record through the first 5 because look at the gauntlet that's coming. And instead, you're probably staring at 1-4. And you're a miracle fourth quarter away from being 0-4 right now and potentially looking at 0-5. So they'll try to get it fixed, and they better. If you want to salvage anything in this season. The silver lining is your division stinks. I didn't get much right, but the thing I got right is Tampa stinks. Their offense stinks. And as a result, you still have a shot in this division if you can get some things righted. We've seen bad teams make the playoffs before. The Saints went up against the Seattle team in 2010. Would they win the division at 7-9 or 8-8? I forget whichever it was. I think they were 7-9. This is a bad division. So if you can get hot, you got a shot. If you can catch fire, that's a big if at this point. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hey, y'all, this Friday, come on out. We will be at Bowie Outfitters for the Hudco Hometown Heroes tailgate party. Friday, from 11 to 2. Our guy, Hot Rod, Rodney Beloso, is going to be cooking up a big pot of gumbo, courtesy of Hot Rod's Creole. So come on out to Bowie. Someone's going to win a $250 Bowie Outfitters gift card. Someone's going to win a signed Patrick Queen football. It's totally free. Just come, get you a cold drink, get you maybe an adult beverage, a cold beer, and a bowl of gumbo on a Friday afternoon. Again, from 11 to 2 at Bowie Outfitters. You'll see the HUDCO tents, the HUDCO swooper flags. Come meet me. Come meet Terrio. Come see our crew. We'll be out there again this Friday at Bowie from 11 to 2 for a HUDCO Hometown Heroes tailgate. We'll look forward to seeing you out there. And, of course, we'd love to give you a free no-obligation roofing inspection. Just go to HUDCOroofing.com or call 364-1007. That's 225-364-1007. Actually, if you call right now, Terrio may answer the phone. 364-1007 for HUDCO Roofing or HUDCOroofing.com. All right, it's after further review, y'all. I'm not going to break. Come back. We'll go around the SEC. We got to go back over from this weekend what we said we were keeping an eye on. We'll get to all that. Cole Cubelic in about 45 minutes from right now. Maddy Hudak in Hour 3, a little Saints film review. We'll get to all of it. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congratulations to Adam Starnes of Denham Springs. Adam is our Week 5 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. Wins $50 Twin Peaks gift cards. Don't forget to make your picks by Week 6 at 5 p.m. Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today, 1045ESPN.com.
You can keep your texts coming. I see them. I'll get to a lot of the questions after the top of the hour about LSU. Stephen Miller talking about the scripted plays at the beginning of the game. John Fredrickson's asking about Jack Besh. A lot of the stuff that I want to get to, and we will right after the top of the hour. 2 more head football coaching jobs are open. Wisconsin fired Paul Christ. Colorado fired Carl Durrell. I mean, Colorado stinks. That's not surprising. Oddly enough, when Georgia Tech made their change, I referenced 1990 when Georgia Tech won the national championship. And I said, look, that's more recent than Notre Dame, which last won in 1988. Georgia Tech shared the 1990 national championship with Colorado. So it's kind of stunning that these two programs that have had national success within the last 30 years are falling upon the times that they have. It's curious to see if they'll ever find it again. Wisconsin firing Paul Chryst is just stunning. I get it. It's been ugly this year. They lost at home to Washington State. They got blown out by Ohio State. They got blown out by Illinois and Brett Bielema, their former coach. It's embarrassing. But this, more than anything, it feels like that's an opportunity to give Jim Leonhard a test drive as the head coach to see if they want to make him the full-time head coach. But either way, how about some self-awareness, recognizing what you are, Wisconsin? That's bizarre. All right, we'll go around the SEC just a second. Remind you about DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Right now, remember, bet just $5 on any NFL team to win. You get $200 in free bets if they do. So you want to play tonight, Monday Night Football. Should be a fun game tonight. Bet just $5 on either team to win. If they do, you get $200 in free bets courtesy of the DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, all season long, stepped-up same-game parlays. You can throw down stepped-up same-game parlays once per game all season long. That's for every customer. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word altogether. Use the promo code Baton Rouge at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nick Saban gave an update on Bryce Young Monday. Said he's day-to-day as he recovers from a shoulder injury. It is not expected to have long-term ramifications. Alabama hosts Texas A&M on Saturday. Of course, the Aggies upset the Crimson Tide a year ago.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Ahead of their first true road game of the season, Arkansas has their own quarterback question. The Arkan Frauds, now unranked Arkan Frauds, have their own quarterback question as KJ Jefferson left the game after being hit in the head. Sam Pittman would not say that Jefferson was in the concussion protocol. It was Cade Fortin who entered the game in place of Jefferson on Saturday. He's 6'3", 218-pound redshirt senior, spent his first 2 years at North Carolina, the next 2 years at South Florida. If Jefferson can't go, it would likely be Fortin this week against Mississippi State.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Number 2, Georgia will be without star defensive tackle Jalen Carter for another week or two, according to Kirby Smart. He's dealing with a knee injury. 6'3", 310-pound junior, injured his MCL Saturday against Missouri. Georgia hosts Auburn Saturday, and then Vanderbilt the following week. Then they have an open date before they play Florida in Jacksonville.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
This is certainly of consequence for LSU fans. Starting defensive back Warren Burrell has had season-ending surgery to repair an upper body injury. He's a 6-foot senior. Burrell had 41 tackles a season ago and started every game for the Vols, who, of course, are dead last in the SEC in passing defense, passing yards per game allowed. Heupel also confirmed wide receiver Cedric Tillman had the tightrope procedure on his ankle to expedite his recovery, but they don't know when he will return.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Auburn's going to be without one of its top pass rushers for the remainder of the year. Eko Leota was ruled out for the rest of the season. He suffered a pec injury against LSU Saturday. Leota will undergo surgery on Tuesday. 6'4", 257-pounder. He was second on the team in sacks. He's a former Northwestern transfer playing his second season on the Plains. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, an official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, celebrating 20 years as the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics, also, of course, of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. Gulf Coast Office Products, they support the home teams just like you do. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. All right, we're going to grab our final break on something we're doing new on Thursdays. Muse, Paulie, and I are telling you what we're watching for in the football weekend. So we will revisit the things that we said we were watching and tell you how it all went. We'll do that when we wrap up hour number one. Next, LSU's in the top 25. We've got some new bowl projections and your LSU questions. We're getting to all that in about 15 minutes from right now. Cole Cubelic in 30 minutes. A ton to do, jam-packed here on a Monday, recapping the football weekend. And glad you're aboard on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find it. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you were thinking about listing your home and trying to make the most amount of money possible, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'd love to hire a realtor. I just don't want to pay the commission. That's 6% is a lot. Well, I got an idea. Hire Darren James and don't pay him a commission. No, really. Darren has a buy one, list one free program. It's easy. If you're selling your home and looking to buy a new home, call Darren, hire him to represent you on the buy side. Remember, you don't pay a realtor a commission to represent you on the purchase of your home. The seller pays the commission. So hire Darren to help you find a new home, and he'll list yours absolutely free. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 1. We're starting a new thing on Thursdays, What to Watch, where Muse, Paulie, and I will tell you what we're watching for in the football weekend. And then on Mondays, we will recap the things for which we were watching. So let's do that right now. Muse, if you would give me a little music bed. It could be anything. Okay, that certainly works. Appreciate that. Muse, you go first.
Wanted to see Washington and UCLA, see if the Huskies could really keep their momentum going. It was a tough go of it for Michael Penix and company in the Rose Bowl. That was a negative on that one.
Where's the cap gun?
It wasn't a cap gun. We retired that one.
It was 100% a gun.
It was too
we
much
literally
of a distraction.
had a lifelong law enforcement member text the show last week and be like, yeah, that's a gun. It was
Either way,
you were using a gunshot.
Too much of a distraction in the segment. Wanted to keep it on the rails.
You've made an executive decision over there? Got it. Okay, Paulie.
So I was looking at Kentucky and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
See who was for real.
Got it.
Turns out it was Ole Miss.
Yeah, you picked Kentucky.
I did.
I picked Ole Miss.
You did.
Just like with the old Muse there, where he had Washington and I had UCLA.
I had Kentucky in the points there.
Moneyline playing Ole Miss. Actually, I laid the 7 with Ole Miss. No, I didn't make a play, but I did pick Ole Miss in our pick'em segment. And I think Erica had Ole Miss too. She always picks Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she always picks it. I was keeping an eye on the JJJJJ Hawks to see if Kansas could move to 5-0. Lance Leipold there against Iowa State, and I'll tell you, these son of a buggers, they are for real. 5-0 for the Jayhawks. They're not getting game day though, right?
They are. They're getting game day.
They are getting
TCU,
game day.
KU, game day Saturday. Let's go.
All right. Congrats
Rock chalk,
to the
Matt.
JJJJ Hawks moving to 5-0. You don't really deserve it, but congrats anyway.
There were 4 undefeated teams against the spread in the NFL heading into this week. Now there is 1. The Atlanta Falcons, a perfect 4-0 against the spread. Dolphins lost. Lions lost. Texans lost.
Did you say the Lions?
I did for a minute
I
there.
think I heard Lions.
Dolphins, Lions, Texans.
By the way, what you just did, by the way, that's what I maintained is what happened to Brian Kelly with the family. I think he tripped over his word.
Most likely.
What you just said, what did you say again?
Lions.
You said the Lions. You just tripped over your word. I think that's what happened with Brian Kelly with the family. Anyway, Paulie.
I was watching Jaguars-Eagles. The Jags jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Eagles scored 29 unanswered. Caused 5 turnovers and won the game 29-21.
Yeah. Thank you. The cap gun would have gone quicker, I think. I said I was interested in the Raiders. Raiders being 0-3 was the biggest surprise for me in the entire NFL. The fact that they had not won a game. If you couldn't beat the hapless offensive Broncos at home, I don't know if you'd win a game. The Raiders are on the board. 32-23. They beat the Broncos. How about Russ? All the money they gave Russ.
Separation Saturday in the SEC. You saw Kentucky fall, knocked them down a peg. A&M got waxed, knocked them down another peg. You mentioned your Arkan frauds in the last segment, now out of the top 25.
Why do people keep buying them?
And what are you left with, Matt?
Good.
What are you left with?
With
the
what?
Same thing you're left with
Georgia
every year.
and Bama.
Georgia and Bama at the top.
That's what it is. Yes, of course.
Bills-Ravens. Ravens scored 2 touchdowns early, 14-0.
How about that game? What a game.
I know.
What a game.
Lamar Jackson throws an interception, 4th and goal, game tied at 20. Josh Allen, game-winning field goal drive.
Kick the field goal, John Harbaugh.
And I said Clemson, NC State, first time in 100 years that had been a top 10 matchup. Clemson continues to own that conference, 30-20. Clemson beats NC State. They are the ACC's only remaining hope. All right, that's our What to Watch recap. We'll knock out a break. When we come back, we'll get back on some LSU conversation. Brian Kelly met with the media today. Stay here, AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Check them out online. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. I say that every day. Of course, Michelli is our nation's largest distributor of scales, and I could run through all of them. You can go to the Industries tab right there at the top of the page and see all of the industries that they service. And you can trust Michelli to keep all of your scales and your measurement equipment running smoothly. It matters. I mean, think about if you're a farmer. Not that you need me to tell you this, but if you're a farmer and your scale is off even by a decimal, a fraction of a decimal, and you're trying to weigh your crop, think about how much money that would cost you. It's all about efficiency. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com, and they are hiring. So you can go to the homepage of the website at Michelli.com, hit the Careers tab at the top of the page, and you could see about all of the professions that are available at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com. 75 years in business. Michelli.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel telling reporters today they've ruled out quarterback Tua Tagovailoa for Sunday's game against the Jets. McDaniel said it's too early to give a definite timeline for when Tua will be available to return from the concussion he suffered last Thursday night. Broncos running back Javonte Williams out for the season with a torn ACL and LCL. Ravens coach John Harbaugh defending his decision to go for a touchdown instead of the go-ahead field goal with 4:15 left in the loss to Buffalo yesterday, said he felt like going for it gave them the best chance to win. The call, a mistake by Harbaugh, in the opinion of ESPN's Ryan Clark.
This is a bad decision in every way. You're a team that did not score in the entire second half. You have an opportunity to put points on the board and get the lead back that you lost, and you need to do it. And at some point, you got to empower people so they can feel powerful. Me running away from my defense only lets them know that I don't have any faith in them.
Ryan Clark on Get Up. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young is day-to-day with a shoulder injury suffered on Saturday.
Brought to you by Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car, get pre-qualified instantly, and see your real monthly payment without impacting your credit score. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Cole Cubelic in about 13 minutes from right now. Some news we got on Sunday. LSU, for the first time this season, they are back in the AP top 25, ranked 25th. A lot of you had asked if I thought that LSU would be ranked after if they were able to beat Auburn. I said no. I thought it would be another week against Tennessee. But, man, LSU took a mighty big leap from not only were they just receiving votes a week ago. I mean, they had like 7 votes. I mean, they were at the bottom of the receiving votes. But an impressive win at Auburn to come back from down 17, and LSU is up to 25 in the AP poll. Here's what Brian Kelly said about being ranked.
I think that, when you look at the body of work and, who this football team is, there's probably 35 teams that could be in the top 25, right, from 25 to 35. So that really is a judgment call, and we feel like at this point the development of our football team will continue to take place through this month.
A&M and Arkansas fell out of the rankings after A&M, of course, lost this week, got blown out by Mississippi State, and Arkansas lost for the second consecutive week. Florida State also fell out of the AP rankings, and LSU back in there at number 25. Again, so LSU went from like 7 votes a week ago to 108. So they were just in at number 25 ahead of Washington State, who had 91 votes. So it is a ranked-on-ranked matchup with LSU hosting Tennessee this week at Tiger Stadium. One other thing very quickly, we'll get some more what Brian Kelly had to say. I know a lot of you had questions that I want to get to and address. I do like to keep an eye on bowl projections. And not necessarily because I think this is where teams are going to go or end up, but just because it kind of gives you a sense of where, what type of bowl you're thinking, like how the season will finish, what type of bowl a team may be projected in. So the Action Network has Bama and Ohio State playing for the national championship. And, one of the things that I follow closely here, of course, is the Las Vegas Bowl.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
And Brett McMurphy at the Action Network has this little tidbit for you there, Muse. Las Vegas Bowl between the SEC and the Pac-12 is scheduled for December the 17th.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so 6:30 Central, at Allegiant Stadium, which is where the Raiders play, televised on ABC. See what day of the week that is, please.
What was the date?
December 17th. So the Raiders approved that date and kickoff time after their schedule was released, because the stadium also hosts UNLV's home games and the Las Vegas Bowl. So they had to make sure that that all three could be occupied or accommodated. Excuse me. Well, the next day, so forgive me. So it'd be a Saturday. December 17th is a Saturday, because December 18th at 8:20 p.m. the Raiders are scheduled to play on Sunday Night Football against the Patriots. Well, that would provide nearly 24 hours between the Las Vegas Bowl and Sunday Night Football for the crew to transition the stadium from the Las Vegas Bowl to Sunday Night Football for the Raiders. Well, the problem is the NFL could flex that game off of Sunday Night Football because neither team is very good right now. So if they did that, it would move the Raiders-Patriots from Sunday Night Football up to a 4:30 Eastern start. Now, that should give crews plenty of time, because what is required by the city is 12 hours of prep time, because the city Las Vegas gave the Raiders $750 million to contribute toward the stadium, because UNLV is also using it, et cetera. And so they said, look, what's required is 12 hours of prep time from the end of one game in order to get ready for the next. So if you play the Las Vegas Bowl at 7:30 Eastern, so 4:30 Pacific, that would give you until 7 a.m. or so local time the next day to have the stadium ready. 7, 8 a.m., something like that. Well, if the game isn't until 4:30, it's plenty of time.
Yeah, it works.
Plenty of time. Well, the Raiders right now are saying, I don't know if we're going to be able to accommodate you now. They're trying to back out of this. And the Las Vegas Bowl is saying, excuse me, no, we have a contract signed, and it's impossible to move the date because you have sponsors and TV and all. It is not possible. Anyway, so we're going to keep an eye on that unfolding situation with the Las Vegas Bowl, made even more interesting because in his bowl projections, our buddy there, old Brett McMurphy, does have a bowl projection for the Las Vegas Bowl.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
And in said Las Vegas Bowl,
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
he's got Washington.
Of course, yeah.
From the Pac-12.
Who are they playing, Matt?
Oh, that would be your Fighting Tigers of LA. We're up in share. I'm ready. I'm pumped already. I got my bag packed. Brett McMurphy said it. It's gospel. All other bowl projections need not apply. All right, Cole Cubelic's coming up here in just a few minutes. We appreciate you for being here with us. Bottom of this hour, I'll get back to some of the LSU Injuries that Brian Kelly updated. The really, really good news is Sevyn Banks, but a spinal bruise is what they're calling it. So nothing structural, which is great news. And Jaden Daniels, he said Jaden Daniels is 100%. Apparently got banged knee to knee. So something with a bursa sac, but it was very painful on Saturday. But he's fine now and 100% ready to go. So that's all fantastic news. So, all right, and by the way, just real quick as a reset, at the top of hour 3, so 50 minutes from right now, right at 5 o'clock, Brian Kelly today was asked multiple times, multiple different ways about the pass offense. They threw for 85 yards. It was terrible. I had the first question of the day, and I asked him about Kayshawn specifically, who, through 5 games, has fewer than 100 receiving yards and 0 touchdowns. If you could have given me that prop bet before the season, I mean, there's not a soul alive that would have bet that. But that's where you are. So what do they got to do to get this thing going? And Brian Kelly was really candid, not only about the receivers, but also about Jaden Daniels, about play calling. We're going to get into all that coming up to start hour number 2. All right, Cole Cubelic is next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I always encourage you to go read the reviews, but here's what I got to tell you about today. We have flipped to October, and we are officially headed toward the winter months. And so what that means is now it is time to start thinking about your heater. Before you know it, you're going to be cranking that thing up. Not time yet. I'm still 85 degrees today. But we are heading toward, and now is the time to call River City's 1 Hour Air to get that preseason heater safety check. Remember, mention the show, mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. And if you are a membership club member, a service club member, you get that service, the seasonal maintenance, complimentary. So ask about the membership club when you call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. He enjoys Victory cigars and pancake blocks. It's time to preview this week in the SEC with Cole Cubelic, presented by Roosters Men's Grooming.
Cole, what's good, man?
Hey, everything. What's good with you, Matt?
Well, this may sting a little, but every time LSU beats Auburn, it's a pretty good wake-up here on a Monday. So not a shot, just a reality. How in the world did LSU beat Auburn when Robbie Ashford threw for over 300 yards and LSU totaled 85 passing yards?
Yeah, pretty simple. Turned it over 4 times,
Yeah.
and some silly turnovers as well. Obviously, one leading directly to points, others leading to points a little bit later. But you turn the football over 4 times in any game, you're going to have trouble winning. It doesn't matter the level of the opponent. Doesn't matter how good or bad your opponent plays. You're going to have trouble winning that football game. And Auburn put in some things that a lot of folks are labeling as too cute or too tricky, things of that nature. But that's kind of what got them their explosive plays. Something they haven't really been able to create much of this entire season. And then a couple more obviously led to those turnovers we've mentioned. So I think Brian Kelly and company had a chance to sort of just shut things down, throttle back a little bit late in the game, knowing they weren't going to have to do a whole lot else to be able to go out there and win it. But ultimately it was those turnovers, man. I thought Auburn had a pretty good plan. They found some things that worked. They were able to implement those, some things that LSU obviously had not seen. But they still got good performances from a lot of the defensive line. Most of those big plays were some busted coverages in the secondary, and I thought the 2 defensive ends still stood out. And you found a way to get a win on the road. And like Kirby Smart told me after the game in Columbia, Missouri, it's hard to win on the road in the SEC, man. And they found a way to do it.
Well, I'm gonna get to Georgia-Mizzou, the game you had here in just a second. But I want to get a thought each on LSU and Auburn. I kind of asked, I think I've asked you this question, some semblance of the same question every week, but it bears repeating. Week 1 to week 5 now, where are the areas you've seen LSU improve most?
I think just overall offensive identity, understanding what they're going to be capable of and not be capable of. I think the run game's gotten a little bit better. And listen, there's still some issues up front. I didn't think the tackles collectively played as well this week as they had the previous week or two, specifically the right side. So kind of went a little bit backwards there. But it's like I told you last week, Matt, I don't know if it's as much of, this position group or this guy's gotten that much better as it's been just finding what they're comfortable with and finding ways they think they can go out and be successful in altering some of those things. That's been the big key for me. So, I think there have been different backs that have helped a little bit, whether it's been a little bit more Josh Williams last week against Auburn and then different guys in the secondary stepping up and making plays. But, I think probably just a full understanding of what the concepts are offensively and defensively that are going to work, and then allowing guys to continue to get more comfortable while they're playing in those.
Cole, how does LSU match up against Tennessee?
Well, I do think that you've got the ability to get to the quarterback, which is going to be big. And they have a physical presence. Like I thought Jaquelin Roy had one of his better games this past week. Mm-hmm. I think the linebacking core is starting to kind of figure some things out. And one thing LSU does get really good play from is the secondary in run support. So you're not going to be able to play up necessarily against Tennessee. You're going to have to play back. And you're going to have to make sure that you have, extra coverage and extra bodies for those shot plays. And so when you do that, you're going to have less people in the tackle box. But if your safeties can come down and help and run support, that's obviously going to be big. It's going to help a lot. So I think the defensive line has the ability to play a little bit of a lighter box and still find some success. And then they have good run support from the secondary, which is going to be big. Offensively, I'm anxious to see it because, this LSU offensive line kind of finding its way, and Tennessee's defensive line's played a little bit out over their skis this year. So I'm interested to see that matchup. I think that'll be one that's big to decide it because obviously LSU goes in this game. I don't know how you don't go into this game without the mindset of, all right, we're going to try to eat clock. We're going to try to limit possessions. We're not going to let Tennessee have, 12, 18 shots at this thing offensively. We've got to get that number down below 10 if possible, or around 10 at least. And then you hope to get a turnover or two, force a couple punts, and then you take your chances with what the rest of it is. So I don't think it's a terrible matchup. It depends on how the style of game begins to go, because if it turns into a track meet, that's a big advantage for Tennessee.
Yeah. Cole Cubelic's with us on behalf of Roosters Men's Grooming Center, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Okay, you were in Como. Look, full disclosure, I was locked in LSU Auburn, following as best I could. What in the world happened?
Well, I think Georgia came in a little bit flat. I don't think there's really any way around that. And Stetson Bennett was off, so that's obviously going to play into it a little bit as well. And, listen, Georgia's down playmakers right now. You've got A.D. Mitchell, who's trying to get back into the mix. Arian Smith's trying to get back in the mix. You're not super explosive at tailback. All you got to go do is look at their long runs. And, they don't have anybody that's busted like a 50, 60, 80-yard run this year. So Kenny McIntosh, Kendall Milton, they're not game-breaker, home run hitting tailbacks. The only one they really have is Brock Bowers. So you can only find so many different ways to get him the football. I would have liked to have seen more this past weekend. They couldn't find those, but I think that he'll be a guy that they continue to try to find different ways to get the football. But they're not an explosive team, and Missouri has a good defensive line. Trajan Jeffcoat, Jaden Jernigan, Isaiah McGuire, those guys can play. And they went into that game attack mode. Extra defenders in the box saying, we don't think this receiving core is good enough to be able to just go win one-on-ones the whole game. And then we think if we get in this quarterback's face, we can be problematic. And they did that. They had some free runners that got hits on Stetson Bennett. They forced him to move. And they were pretty good back in coverage. They got good run support from their safeties. Jalen Carlisle's was incredible. That kid, I don't know if I've seen another player this year in college football just put their body on the line like he did coming down from the safety position last week. Number one from Missouri. Had a heck of a game, and they got some big plays offensively early and got a couple breaks in special teams. So they had it at home. They were motivated. Georgia looked a little flat. Their best player on defense, Jalen Carter, goes out in that game. So a lot of things just went Missouri's way, but I give Coach Drinkwitz and his staff credit for the plan that they put together because that also had a lot to do with it. Javon Bullard, starting safety, was out for Georgia. He didn't go. So there was a few changes that helped that thing kind of go the way that it did. But ultimately, Brady Cook and company couldn't make enough plays. They needed one more score late, and they could have put that thing away. They're sitting there after a long run on the 1 yard line. They get a false start that turns into a field goal. Ultimately, that's the difference in the game. You had a chance to build a nice lead and really put the pressure on Georgia, and they couldn't get it done.
What was your biggest takeaway from Ole Miss's win over Kentucky?
Just that is a team that can probably lean on their defense a little bit more than we thought they were going to be able to win football games. They had to have a pass rush in that game, and they got it. Their defense got takeaways, and their defense did a pretty good job against a solid rushing attack. You could sit there and say, well, Chris Rodriguez came back, and he played well. He didn't even average 4 yards a carry. They averaged under 3 yards a carry for the game. 108 yards rushing for a Kentucky team. Every coach in the league, if you ask them if they'll take that, they'll say absolutely, hell yes. So I thought that they showed that up front they can be physical. They can match up with a team that thrives and lives on physicality. They can get turnovers and they can get to the quarterback. Now it wasn't a ton of sacks, but 3 sacks in the game is pretty good. But it was the hits on the quarterback and obviously the turnovers that were massive. And I think it just kind of showed you, too, like they don't have to go score 50 points to win every game. They don't have to score 40 points to win every game. They got a star in Quinshon Judkins at tailback. I mean, the kid is as fun to watch as any running back in this league right now, maybe in the nation. And I think the biggest takeaway would have to be that they don't have to go win 45-42 or 38-35. They can lean on their defense more than we thought, and they can find different ways to win.
Cole, A&M was preseason top 10. They're now unranked, and there appears to be more pain ahead for the Aggies. Is anything salvageable this year for Texas A&M?
Yeah, I think things are salvageable, but it's just not good right now. And I didn't believe in them early. I was. You and I had conversations in the preseason, and I'm sitting there. I remember talking to you at Media Day saying, you lost your best running back, your workhorse running back. You lost your tight end, who happened to be your leading receiver. You lost all 4 defensive linemen. You lost your best offensive lineman. You lost your leading tackler. Like, how do people just think this thing is going to be better than it was a year ago? It did not make any sense. And so I think when you look at it now, and I mean, you lost your quarterback to beat Alabama. Not that I think they'd be totally different with Zach Calzada right now, but I think they might be a little bit different. Here's the thing with Texas A&M. The presentation of the offense has got to change. I mean, you watch every team. I don't care if you are – I mean, look at Andy Ludwig at Utah. You may have seen him when he was at Vanderbilt. Like, they are an old-school, pro-style, 2 tight end. They're 12 personnel the majority of the time. They'll be 13 even sometimes. But, they'll run the play clock down. They're kind of a boring offense compared to, Oklahoma or Tennessee. But they still are – they're going to shift. They're going to motion. They're going to move. They're going to have different personnel groupings. Like, they present their offense in a very different way. That's the thing with Lane Kiffin and Coach Weiss. I mean, that offense that they have, they're only running like 3 or 4 run plays, but they run them 25 different ways each. They make them look different. Jimbo's literally just lining up and running plays. And you can't live like that in today's college football. It's just not real. And if you do, you better have damn good personnel. And they don't. They got some D linemen that are young that look good. They got a tailback that can scoot. But that's about it when you're talking about just lining up and always being better than the guy in front of you in the SEC. They're young on defense, so they flash. They make great plays, but then they're out of position. So that thing's kind of back and forth. You never really know what you're going to get. So I just think that as far as this year, I don't expect it to get too much better. There's going to have to be a little bit of an overhaul if it is going to improve. And with what they have left on the schedule, I just don't see it. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to lose the rest of their games because they still do have guys who can make plays. It's just they don't have that many, and they're not that much better than everybody else that they're going to be playing against.
A couple more for Cole Cubelic, SEC Network, Jocks FM in Birmingham. He's on Twitter at Cole Cubelic, brought to you by Roosters Men's Grooming Center. So we get the much anticipated Alabama-Texas A&M rematch. Bryce Young has a bum shoulder. A&M stinks. What do we expect Saturday?
I don't think they need Bryce Young to win the football game. I mean, I think that when I watched Alabama this past weekend, I thought 65 had his best game in an Alabama uniform. Right tackle J.C. Latham. Tyler Booker, 52, is a true freshman, but he keeps coming on. He's playing more and more, doing more things, and he's going to help that group be more physical. And then look what Jahmyr Gibbs just did. I think they could go in with Jalen Milroe, go in with a package for him of 15, 20 plays, a lot of those including some sort of a read or option play where he has the option to run it, keep it, or run it or throw it, or he has the option to give it, keep it, some sort of a read where you can cause enough confusion, enough commotion with a young front seven and an offensive line that's growing. You have Robbie Oops that can play tight end, Cam Latu that can play tight end. I mean, they could load that thing up and add some extra blockers. Kendall Randolph will put 85 on. He'll play some tight end. Like, you got enough to be able to make that thing go. And if you slow the game down, that's even worse for A&M because A&M is going to have to live on their dynamic tailback. They just don't have a lot else. So are they going to go? They're going to go fast and run off tackle or run horn or run inside zone 35 times? Like, that's not going to do anything. So I think the style of game that A&M is probably going to have to play plays right into Alabama's hands, even if there is no Bryce Young. And, oh, by the way, you got an offensive line not playing very good. and a defense that is 5th in scoring, 11th in rushing, 4th in pass, and 5th in total defense. So good luck with that if you're Jimbo Fisher.
Hey, before you go, Arkansas goes to Mississippi State. Do the Hogs lose their 3rd straight?
Who, this is kind of where it all got going for Barry Odom with playing against the air raid and playing against Matt Corral a couple of years ago. The secondary is not only not covering well, they're not tackling well. And I think that's the bigger problem, the bigger issue. They've got to figure out a way to get ball carriers to the ground. Mississippi State does a nice job with the catch and run stuff. Will Rogers is playing good ball. Now, I will say this. Will Rogers had a couple of very fortunate misses Saturday afternoon. He had 3 balls that easily could have been intercepted that weren't, and a couple others that could have led to negative plays that were very close and did not. So those have got to be cut down because certain teams will be able to take advantage of those. But that's a really good front that Alabama kind of handled, and I would anticipate Mississippi State would be okay against. And that the matchup to watch is going to be State's front 7 against the Arkansas offensive line. And what we talked about last week was this would be the first test for the edge defenders that Alabama brings to the table because of the zone read stuff, the RPO stuff, the things that they do on the perimeter. And you saw how quickly Dallas Turner and Will Anderson crashed the mesh. So I would anticipate that Zach Arnett goes into this game saying the exact same thing. He might not have the exact same kind of athletes, but he's got some aggressive linebackers and defensive linemen that he could put out there and say, just go attack the mesh point, force KJ Jefferson to make a decision. And then if he gets tripped up a little bit or he makes it too fast, that's advantage the rest of our guys. So it's very feasible. It's very possible. It's all going to depend, I think, on the plan that Barry Odom puts in place to try and slow down Will Rogers.
Cole will be in Lexington with the gang this week for South Carolina at Kentucky, and he'll be with us again next Monday. We appreciate you as always, man. Thank you.
Always good talking to you, Moscona. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, man. We'll see you. That's Cole Cubelic, brought to you by Roosters Men's Grooming Center. We do appreciate Roosters for sponsoring our segment with Cole every week. Of course, you can go get the gentleman's choice. You can book online or on their app. Get a premium haircut. I love the straight edge shaved as well. It's like an old style barber shop with a lot of new style flavor, which is really cool. In Town Center, and then on Old Perkins, directly across from the entrance to Blue Bayou. So 2 locations in Baton Rouge and online. RoostersMGC.com is in Roosters Men's Grooming Center. RoostersMGC.com. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Brian Kelly did update a bunch of injuries today for LSU. We'll let you hear what the coach had to say when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money and helping a lot of Louisiana residents who have seen their insurance provider leave the state. Was having lunch a couple of Fridays ago with Adam and Jay and the folks over at Insurance Network of Louisiana, and that this has been a big, big talking point. You've seen it on the news lately, probably, where a lot of insurance companies have left the state. Many maybe came in after the flood in 2016 or after Katrina in 2005. And with the flood and then with Ida last year, you're seeing a lot of insurance companies leave the state. So if that's you and you've been left without an insurance provider, call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them do the legwork for you to find the company that can give you the best coverage for the least amount of money. Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450. Call right now, 293-0450. It's in the 225-293-0450 or online at lainsurance.net for Insurance Network of Louisiana.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards. which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Andy Ortiz, Christian Lewis, Joshua Livings, a lot of you via text are asking about the passing game. I got time carved out for it at the top of hour 3. So I did ask Brian Kelly point blank. It was the first question of the press conference today. Why they're not getting Kayshon Boutte more involved. And it was asked several other ways about the passing game as a whole. And he was about as candid, I think, as he's been about the passing game, the functionality, Jaden Daniels needing to be more aggressive, having to call better plays, a lot of it. So we're going to unpack all of that coming up at the top of hour number 2, or of hour number 3, excuse me. And Maddy Hudak's going to be with us next hour as well. We did kind of like a film session with Maddy last week, and a lot of you really enjoyed it. So we're going to bring her back and ask how Justin Jefferson had the day he did. What were the differences on tape with Jefferson, or excuse me, with Jameis Winston to Andy Dalton? How Latavius Murray got going in the running game, which we haven't really seen.
Prison.
So we'll get to all that coming up in hour 3. Brian Kelly did also update a lot of the injuries. Let's start with the one that was the most concerning. It was the first opening kickoff of the game where Sevyn Banks went down, and Brian Kelly gave an update on Monday.
So the diagnosis is a spinal cord bruise, which puts him similar to Major Burns' situation, where there was a bruise, nothing else, no structural issues. That's probably going to take 5-6 weeks before we can get him back. Now, Major Burns starts, so talking about similar patterns here, Major Burns starts running today. Next week, he'll begin non-contact drills, football non-contact drills with us. So there'll be a similar protocol and procedure provided there's no setbacks along the way. So really fortunate and, really appreciate, all the help that we got from our own medical team and certainly Auburn's as well in what was a very scary situation.
So first of all, first of all, most importantly, glad Sevyn Banks is okay. That's obviously the utmost importance. It puts such a cloud over the game when on the opening kickoff you have a player leave the field on a stretcher. The news came during the game that he actually left the hospital, was back at the stadium, and watched the rest of the game from the locker room, which is fantastic. And it appears as though all is going to be okay. It's disappointing for Sevyn Banks because he was injured at Ohio State last year, battled through an injury trying to train to get back throughout fall camp where he was really limited, only got on the field for the first time as a Tiger a week ago against New Mexico, and now on the opening kickoff of the following game, he suffers this injury, and it looks like it's going to be weeks more that he'll miss. So, for the young man trying to get on the field, that's disappointing, but obviously we're glad that he's okay. Brian Kelly did also say Garrett Dellinger will be back this week. One thing that some of you had asked, and I didn't know, so I asked Brian Kelly today, was which hand Garrett Dellinger broke, because obviously that matters because he's your backup center. So if he broke his right hand, then he can't play center because you can't snap the ball. Broke his left hand, then theoretically he could still be your backup center to Charles Turner. So Brian Kelly and I had a little back and forth today.
It was his left.
So he's still your backup center?
Yes, he is.
Who else is repping there?
Fitzgerald West. He was not available because he was in our concussion protocol. So we were up to you as the center.
20 years ago, I'd have given it a hell of a go for you. I'd have gotten my ass whipped, but I'd have given it a go. Right now, that would be super problematic. But last week we talked about, I sort of jokingly said, when you get down and bend the knee, pray for Charles Turner's health. That sort of illustrates it, right? So to spell it out, you've got Charles Turner as your starting center. Behind him is Garrett Dellinger, who now has a club on his broken, surgically repaired left hand, and then would be snapping the ball with his right hand. Behind Dellinger is Fitzgerald West, who at the start of this season, they moved back, who, remember, was a defensive lineman in high school, who the previous staff saw at camp, offered him as a center. He signs, the new staff moves him back to defensive line, and now he's back repping at center on the offensive line. Got all that? So, and who was in the concussion protocol a week ago. So you are really paper thin at center. That is a concern. Maybe you move Marlon Martinez there as an emergency situation if you need it, but that's a problem. So you've got, like, I would actually argue that keeping Charles Turner healthy is the most important position on this team. I think everywhere else, and I would say Jaden Daniels is number 2, but everywhere else, you've got backups. You have options. Maybe not great options, but at center, you really don't have an option. So that's the good news there for Dellinger, is that it was his left hand. He'll have a club on his left hand, but he'll play left guard. And if they need him to, he could snap the ball with his right hand. And then obviously Jaden Daniels was the one everyone was worried about or wondering about after the game when he left the game with an injury. We saw him very abruptly in the middle of a drive leave the game due to injury. Here was Brian Kelly on Monday with the Jaden Daniels update.
Daniels is fine. He had a bursa sac, which is, I don't know the exact medical deal with that. I wish I could be a little bit more precise and articulate, but it's not structural at all, but it's painful. And so he was in pain. And so, he just felt like he was hurting the team being out there. But he felt good yesterday. The exam was clean. We did an MRI just to make sure, and that came back clean. So he's now in a pretty good position where he feels like he's 100%.
So it was the first drive of the fourth quarter. So Harold Perkins got the pick on what ended up being the last play of the third quarter. So LSU took over at their own 8. They ran John Emery a couple of times. On 3rd and 5, Daniels attempts the pass to Malik Neighbors where Auburn was flagged for pass interference. Malik was pretty animated about it, and he obviously got grabbed. And so LSU got the first down on the penalty, and then on that first down is when Nussmeier came in. So, and then Nussmeier played the entire fourth quarter. So I know there's a lot of people who have continued to persist and pursue the Nussmeier conversation, and I'll continue to say I don't get it. We have seen quite literally nothing from Garrett Nussmeier to warrant the level of confidence some of you have in him. And I want to be clear, because I'm not putting down this young man. What I'm saying is, and I think he has a skill set, a lot of things you like. I think he's got a good arm. He's got a good release. I like the moxie, the son of a coach, all that stuff. I like all that stuff a lot. And I think in time he can be a really good college football player. But he was 2 of 6 for 5 yards. We saw him against Southern, and he's making mind-boggling decisions, turning the ball over. Like, you're winning right now because your defense is great and you have a quarterback that's protecting the football and allowing you to be opportunistic. Would you like to stretch the field and be more aggressive? Absolutely. We all want to see that. Your strength is your receivers. You want to see it. But if you're saying, hey, run Garrett Nussmeier out there, you are begging for 2008 all over again. You are begging for it. You are begging for the Jarrett Lee turnover season all over again. And there is nothing right now that you've seen from Nussmeier in his collegiate career to warrant the type of confidence some of you have. And again, it's not to say he can't or won't ever be that. He just hasn't to this point in the opportunities we've seen him. I mean, a year ago, he played the whole game against Arkansas. They scored 13 points in an overtime game. He was 18 of 31 with a touchdown, 2 picks, threw for 179 yards, completed 58% of his passes. His QBR was 31. Against McNeese last year, he was 3 of 10 for 19 yards. I mean, he hadn't done it. So this team is not going to win a championship. They're not going to win the SEC. They're not going to win the West. They're not going to win the national championship. That's okay. But Jaden Daniels continues to provide a bridge that allows you to set the foundation under Brian Kelly, get these young guys more experience to learn and grow to when they can finally spread their wings and fly within this offense and in the future. That's going to be fantastic. They're basically allowing Nussmeier and Walker Howard to avoid the fate that found Jarrett Lee in 2008 when, God bless him, he made some awesome plays. I mean, he led the comeback against Auburn. But there were also a lot of head scratchers for a young player who had to play too early. And the good thing is you can avoid that right now with Nussmeier and Howard. So, no, Jaden Daniels is your best path forward and will be this entire season. All right. We'll knock out a quick break. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Check them out online, shop online, work out financing online. You can do all of that at the website and then go test drive one at Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. It's South Point Volkswagen, 9 different IIHS top safety picks. Shop online today, and if they don't have on the lot what you're looking for, they can find it. Remember, certified pre-owned vehicles as well, all different makes and models. You'll find them at South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, we will come back to the LSU offensive conversation and the passing offense in about 15 minutes. Maddy, Hudak in about 30 minutes with some Saints film study. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers in the Pros. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, of course, also is the home for Eagle 98.1 game day, every single LSU game day. I'll remind you, this Saturday with the early kickoff, pregame will be in studio, but postgame will be out at the Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. If you want to get by, you can see Hanny and Jeremy Hill for postgame over at Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. Rouse's, of course, they've got delivery and pickup options. You can go to the Rouse's website or you can download the Rouse's app. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick out your items for you. And when you pull up, they'll bring it out to your vehicle. And, of course, if you can't make it to Rouse's, they'll deliver to your home or office or whatever is convenient for you. That is Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. If you need a hot dinner option tonight for the entire family, Rouse's has plenty of them. Just go and walk to the left, see all the prepared items they have. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Kids have staked out their place at Auctioner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Auctioner Health Center for Children.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number hour number 2. Muso has Tigers in the pros. I'll get the hours right.
Tigers in the pros.
Maybe.
They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
After two rough weeks, Justin Jefferson bounced back. 10 receptions off 13 targets, 147 yards with a long of 41 against the New Orleans Saints on Sunday in London. Tyrann Mathieu on the other side of the field for New Orleans turned in a really solid day, had an interception, his first in a Saints uniform, had another pass that he defended and totaled up 7 tackles in the football game. The Cleveland Browns, they took it on the chin against the Falcons, but a pair of former Tiger defenders had a very nice day. Jacob Phillips led the Browns with 7 tackles in the game, also had a hit on the quarterback, and then Grant Delpit defended 2 passes and totaled up 4 tackles in that one. The Bills and the Ravens, potentially the game of the day, honestly, on Sunday. And Patrick Queen was not hard to find in that one. 5 tackles for Baltimore, 1 tackle for a loss, hit the quarterback 3 times. Josh Allen's going to be happy. He doesn't have to see Patrick Queen much more this season. The New England Patriots yesterday, they fell to the Green Bay Packers. Devon Gottschall, really solid day for New England. 6 tackles in that game, 3 of them on his own. And then the nightcap, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. What a night for Clyde, man. 19 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Added a 1 catch for 2 yards and a touchdown as well.
Calica.
There it is. And then Devin White for the Buccaneers. 11 tackles in the game, 1 of them for a loss, 1 hit on the quarterback, and 1 pass defense 45 continues to be all over the field for the pewter. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, if you are thinking about popping the question, Baton Rouge has gone to Lee Michaels to get engaged for 40 years. If you want to shop rings by style or clarity or setting or many other different criteria, Lee Michaels can help you. So get on by any of the Lee Michaels locations, 9 in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and in the Mall of Louisiana. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. All right, y'all, we'll knock out a quick break. Top of the hour, get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, Brian Kelly is very aware that they need to fix the passing offense. How do they do it? We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service, and name brand tires at wholesale prices, ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Maybe you got a road trip coming up to watch the Tigers play or the Jags or the Saints, wherever you're headed. Bring the vehicle to Shaw Bills before you hit the road. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. You can schedule service online. You can shop tires online. You can chat with an associate online. They make it easy, whatever's convenient for you. So go to ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, they'll always sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. So go to the website, hit the promotions tab, and you'll see all of their offers. And many times what they'll do is they will combine the manufacturer's offer. So if it's Bridgestone or Firestone or BF Goodrich or Michelin with their own in-house offer, like ask about the Shaw Bills credit card. You'll always get discounts on things like installation and all different types of stuff. It's at ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer, crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women, women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Shop,
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah!
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, White Sox manager Tony La Russa stepping down after 2 seasons because of a heart issue. Dolphins ruled out quarterback Tua Tagovailoa against the Jets on Sunday. Coach Mike McDaniel told reporters it's too early to give a definite timetable for when Tua will be able to return from that concussion he suffered 4 days ago. And there are positive signs for Tagovailoa, notes ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
I'm told Tua is in the building today. He's doing very well. I'm told his follow-up MRI came back clean, so all the signs are positive, but he's going to take a while through the concussion protocol, obviously ruled out this week, and the Dolphins are simply not going to rush him out into the field probably anytime soon, but they're going to take it day by day, and everything has been positive so far with the way he's feeling.
Broncos outside linebacker Randy Gregory will have a scope on his right knee. He is expected to miss 2 to 6 weeks. Colts linebacker Shaq Leonard and defensive lineman Tyquan Lewis will not play Thursday against Denver due to concussion symptoms. Tests on running back Jonathan Taylor's ankle were negative. He does have a chance to play. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young is day-to-day with a shoulder injury.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts? Who do you want?
I'm probably going to lean toward Dak Prescott because of the years that he's already been in the league.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate back.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Maddy Hudak here in about 15 minutes. I'll do a little Saints film review. What she saw on film, difference between Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. How in the world was Justin Jefferson so wide open? And how did that Saints running game get going? We'll talk about that with Maddy in about 15 minutes from right now. So LSU beats Auburn, which I'm doing backflips. You go on the road, you beat Auburn, you dig out of a 17-point hole on the road in that game, and you lose your starting quarterback in the fourth quarter. I'm ecstatic. I think this season is largely about LSU getting better, and if you manage to win some games along the way, that's awesome. And that's happened now through 2 conference games where LSU's dug itself a hole and managed to get out and emerge victorious. So the Tigers are 4-1. They're 2-0 in the league. But they threw for 85 yards at Auburn on Saturday. Brian Kelly was pretty clear when he met with the media Monday. Yeah, that's got to change.
This is not going to work. We can't throw for 85 yards with the talent that we have and expect to beat the top 10 teams in the country.
One more time for all the people in the back who didn't hear.
This is not going to work. We can't throw for 85 yards with the talent that we have and expect to beat the top 10 teams in the country.
Y'all, Brian Kelly knows they have a problem. Okay? They have identified very clearly that they need to be better at throwing the football. You have a coach who is, with a little bit of bubble gum and duct tape together, putting this thing together this year, trying to build culture and confidence and buy-in, and along the way, win some games. So you see at times kid gloves, but you also see a coach who's like, yeah, this ain't it. It's got to get better. And he's right. It does have to get better. What you saw on Saturday, offensively, throwing the football was brutal. That was a throwback to a time where none of us want to go back to. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you won the game, but you know it's not sustainable, and you're going to run up against dudes and teams that are just better, And when you do, it ain't going to go well. And Brian Kelly was at least opening up to saying it. I've been reading the show text line all day, and a lot of you are asking questions. Joshua Livings said, Matt, can you address actually the drops at wide receiver? It's totally uncalled for. Joshua Livings is absolutely right on the first possession of the ball game. You had 3rd and 10. Mason Taylor dropped the ball. In the second half, when Garrett Nussmeier went in the second half, you had a 2nd and 12. Kayshon Boutte had a drop. That was Nussmeier's second play that he was in the ball game. Just before the muffed punt in the fourth quarter, you had a 1st and 10. Brian Thomas dropped the ball that was right, usually sure-handed. Malik Neighbors had a drop on a ball that was behind him. It's a tough catch, but when you have a quarterback that's struggling, and these quarterbacks are struggling, it could be a little more accurate. Yes, but it's close. You get your hands on it, you got to catch it. These receivers are the best part of your offense, right? We all agree on that. Deepest, most talented part. You have to elevate your quarterback. That's the truth with these receivers. And right now, they're not really doing it. Look, against New Mexico, when Brian Thomas catches a screen and runs it for 57 yards or whatever it is, that's elevating your quarterback. Dropping the ball on the road at Auburn, not. And especially when you have to have it. There was a question from Chase L via text. He said, Matt, is Kayshon Boutte even bought in like the rest of the team? Talking about Brian Kelly had to convince him to buy in over the months, etc. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I asked Brian Kelly that question point blank, and I went and looked at today. Kayshon Boutte right now on the season has fewer than 100 receiving yards in 5 games and no touchdowns. There's not a soul alive that would have been convinced that through 5 games, Kayshon Boutte would have fewer than 100 total yards and would not have found the end zone, but that's where they are. So I asked Brian Kelly point blank, how do you get him more involved in this offense?
Part of this is building trust with a new quarterback. Obviously we're trying to get him the football. He's getting a lot of double coverage. We're still winning. He's happy that we're winning. All those guys that make decisions about who the best receivers are in the country are still going to look at Kayshon and go, that's a really, really good wide receiver. Numbers are numbers. At the end of the day, he's going to continue to play this game at the next level, and the numbers won't dictate where he gets drafted. It's his ability to continue to play the game at the highest of levels. And when you turn on the film and he's running full speed and he's beating guys and the ball didn't come to him for some whatever reason, that's out of his control. So what Kayshon continues to do better each and every week is he controls what he can control. And he does that in practice now, and he does that in games. Would he like the ball more? Absolutely. Would I like to get it to him more? Absolutely. But he's handled himself in the right way, and he continues to work for the team.
He said a lot there. And everything he said there, you can dissect and understand. He continues to work for the team. He's happy we're winning. All that stuff answers the question, is Kayshon bought in? The answer is yes. Kayshon Boutte is bought in. And I'll tell you all this candidly, as many of the players or coaches or support staff members you try to talk to, you pull aside, what's going on there? Everyone, I've not had one person yet tell me the dude's a problem in the locker room. I've not had one. That is, I'll tell you what that is. It is a fan narrative that has been creative because of what Brian Kelly said the first press conference when he was introduced. When he said, I know his name right now, and talked about how he had to get bought in, had to get all that. But remember what happened. Kayshon did. He got bought in. They gave him the number 7. He's been there. But every time he doesn't put up numbers, or his son was born and he wasn't there for New Mexico, it unearths that narrative again. Or in the game on Saturday, you show ESPN shows one camera shot of Jaden Daniels talking to Kayshon Boutte, and you assume that it's all negative. Who knows what they were talking about? I don't. But it just rebirths the narrative. But the head coach is telling you he's bought in. He's doing all the right things. You watch film, he's running full speed. But then that's where the other part of that answer comes in. It says he's running full speed. He can't help it. I want him to get the ball more. He wants the ball more. Of course he wants it more. But it's not going to control his draft stock, which is true. Jamar Chase opted out. Was a top 5 pick. Didn't even play that last year. Because when you go run and they put on the film, they see, you're like, yeah, okay, you're good. Well, and it's going to happen for Kayshon as well. But you pop on the tape, he's running full speed. The ball's not coming to him. What did he say? You got to develop trust with your quarterback. So that's the other big part of this. And that's the other thing that a lot of you talk about, which is, why isn't Jaden Daniels throwing the ball downfield? And that's the next big unlock. It's the last big unlock for this offense. They seem to have settled on their starting line. You know, Jaden Daniels is the starting quarterback. They're getting better in the run game. Mason Taylor is your tight end, and they're using him in the passing game. And Jaden Daniels is throwing the ball in short and intermediate routes, and he is running the ball as well. What you have not unlocked yet is his trust and willingness to throw the ball downfield. And Brian Kelly was as direct today as he has been all year about that.
There's a difference between being on the edge aggressively and being reckless. We're way too conservative right now. I don't want to throw interceptions. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to turn the ball over. We haven't thrown any. And that's not necessarily a bad thing in one respect. But if you're looking to be aggressive, you're going to throw an interception or two because somebody made a great play, because you trust that you're going to throw it in there. And we got to get Jaden to be a little bit more on that edge and be a little bit more aggressive. And we will. We'll get there with him because that's the nature of this position. This position has to be, with the skilled players that we have, we've got to get that ball down the field, and we got to get it into some tight windows sometimes. They're not always going to be wide open, but those guys can make plays, and we got to get them the ball.
You have to be on the edge of reckless and aggressive. You got to be aggressive. Can't be reckless. Garrett Nussmeier is reckless. Okay? Jaden Daniels is a 180 of that. Right now, he's very conservative. He's protecting the football. And that is helping you win games. But as play the first cut we played again, Muse, number 25, Brian Kelly cannot say this any clearer.
This is not going to work. We can't throw for 85 yards with the talent that we have and expect to beat the top 10 teams in the country.
You throw for 85 yards against Tennessee this weekend, you get run out of your own stadium. You go to Gainesville and throw for 85 yards, you're going to lose. You play Bama and throw for 85 yards, you're going to lose. Ole Miss, you throw for 85 yards against Ole Miss, you're going to lose. They know they've got to open up the passing game. And a lot of that is Jaden Daniels being comfortable with being more aggressive in the passing game. So how do you toe that line? You don't want him throwing into triple coverage. You don't want him throwing the ball as he's falling down. But sometimes you got to trust Kayshon Boutte to put the ball up there and go make a play. You got to let him go make a play. You got dudes. And that's the next unlock. And when they get, guys, remember, they're 5 games in. 5 games together. When they get to that point, at some point this year, it's going to go. And it's going to look really good when it does. I think back to 2012, Mettenberger's first year starting. The first month was a disaster. Burrow's 2018. Burrow did not throw a touchdown pass in the month of October in 2018. By the time both of them, by the time they got to November, Mettenberger in 2012, Burrow in 2018, when they got to November, the switch flipped and just boom, boom, boom. That pass offense started clicking. They carried it into the next year. Unfortunate thing for Jaden is he's only going to be here for 1 year. But they can do it sooner than later, hopefully. Hopefully it starts this weekend with Tennessee coming in. They need to. But listen, the same way that you know it's a problem, the same way that you and I watching with our own 2 eyes know they've got to start stretching the field in the pass game, the coaches know it too. And we all know where they have to address it. It's getting your quarterback to be comfortable in being more aggressive. Start taking those steps. This weekend will be a great time to do it. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break. When we come back, we'll talk some black and gold. Maddy Hudak's going to join us. Want to do a little film session. What in the world? How was Justin Jefferson so wide open against Marshawn Lattimore? How did the Saints rush offense get going? I want to ask Maddy as well the differences she saw in film from Jameis to Andy Dalton. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. That's brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. The Mayo Clinic Care Network, of course, as I've mentioned so many times, allows your physician here locally to have clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic and access to all of their world-renowned research at no extra cost to you. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Of course, you go to brgeneral.org. You can see about all of their featured services that they have to offer, from the Pennington Cancer Center, the Regional Burn Center, their emergency care, the Heart and Vascular Center, and, of course, you can deliver your baby at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. Remember, they've got the Mid-City campus, the Bluebonnet location, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, which has emergency care available as well to Ascension Parish, and all of the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations, which is walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 90.
Purchase your tracks today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we did this a week ago, and a lot of you really enjoyed it. Maddy Hudak was kind enough to join us all throughout Saints training camp to give us our training camp reports. We did a film study last week, or she did the film study and basically just told us what she saw. So Maddy's good enough to join us again here on AFR to talk about the Saints as they fall for the third consecutive week. Maddy, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm good. Just kind of doing the post-mortem at this point on the field.
It is it's so disappointing to see 3 straight losses. If there's one glimmer of hope, it's that you're in a bad division, and if you can find a way to dig yourself out, there is there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But let's talk about how maybe they get there. And the most obvious one, Maddy, is going to be at quarterback. Jameis rested with the injured back, and we got to see Andy Dalton. So when you were looking at the tape, Were there noticeable differences in how Pete Carmichael called the game for Andy as opposed to Jameis?
It just kind of, again, looked somewhat more like the system that they ran under Drew Brees. That's not necessarily to say one's better than the other, but it just kind of seems like that's the way this offense gets working. He gets the ball out quicker, and you didn't see those kind of same play designs of those really long developing plays until, again, kind of later in the game, but it wasn't so much having to play catch up. It was more so just kind of shooting themselves in the foot and all of the penalty yards that they gave up, more so than not actually being able to sustain drives. But that's kind of exactly what the difference is to me, and why I don't always understand the need to go for those kind of really long passes all the time, because clock control is an issue. And yeah, they went 3 and out on some of them, but they had almost a 7-minute drive at one point. I don't really think we've seen that at all this season. So just the ability to rest the defense, it just kind of, again, seems more complementary to what we've seen in years past.
Is that also why maybe we saw the higher completion percentage? Andy Dalton was 20 of 28. Was it more just short and intermediate routes?
I think so. It sticks out that a lot of the top players were out, and I think that that's still impressive that he was able to perform. But I also have to think about the fact that he throws to these receivers more often than not, playing with second teams. That being said, everyone knows what Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and Michael Thomas can do. The reason Trevor Siemian looked good last year in games, him having chemistry with Adam Prentice is not really that great at the end of the day, and Kevin White. But getting guys like Marquez Callaway, who I think brings a level of contested catch more so than the other guys kind of have been able to consistently provide. He kind of almost plays like a defensive back. I think has saved a couple interceptions this season, but it just seems like he gets the ball out quicker. Again, maybe that's by design. I think, again, I would be remiss not to think that Jameis Winston's injury at this point is so obviously more glaringly clear to me. Just the amount of time he seemed to hold on to the ball and not look like himself, you could tell what a healthy quarterback could really do.
Maddy, I'm curious your answer to this. I have the one in my head, but I'm asking you, when you were going back and watching the film of the game again, was there a throw from Andy Dalton that you went, wow, I didn't know he had that in him?
I think it was the one to Olave that he was being hit while he threw, just because to me that really showed a lot. I'm trying to kind of remember the specific route, but it was a longer throw than kind of the dink and dunking that we've seen. But to have the interior pocket collapse, which is going to kind of keep happening, unfortunately, at times with this O-line, and to be able to really deliver that ball while at that point being hit, I thought that showed, a lot of poise that I think sometimes is lacking.
The one that I was going to reference was the throw he made. It was the 16-yarder to Juwan Johnson on the route on the right side, where he fit it in a pretty tight window, and Juwan Johnson made a really nice catch, kind of laying out toward the sideline. I mean, I don't know, Maddy, if that's a throw that Andy Dalton can consistently make, or if that's just like a one-off flash of what he was. But that's the kind of throw that I don't think I've seen so far in this offense until yesterday.
No, I would agree. Those tight window throws that are, kind of not those deep bombs that Winston's throwing. And again, it just continues to kind of stick out more and more to me. I think there's definitely questions to be answered about Winston when he's healthy at this point. I don't think you can blame everything on his injury, but you just think about how many throws have been so off target behind receivers 5 yards over their head. And it looks like Baker Mayfield kind of last year. And you see these kind of balls actually have zip on them by Andy Dalton. And his release is just quicker to me. I almost said one of my favorite plays was the dump off to Adam Trotman, because quite honestly, those plays are what gets games done at the end of the day. And I do wonder sometimes if it's hard for Winston not to kind of go for the guy open deep downfield. That might be someone that's open, but sometimes the guy that's kind of in the middle of the field might be able to get you more short yardage. And I just feel like Andy Dalton in a weird way, kind of like I don't think Winston is with his injury limitations. I think Andy Dalton is at a point in his career where he's aware of his own limitations and isn't going to try and do anything nuts, but can execute what he knows how to do. And, he's led a playoff team before, so I just think you can kind of expect that consistency. And to me, it was the best worst loss this season.
You mentioned the collapsing pocket, which we might see a lot this year. One thing that I thought was very encouraging that I wanted to ask you about was the run game, in particular with Latavius Murray. So what worked so well to get him going on Sunday?
He just seems like he has more juice at this point, I think, than Mark Ingram sometimes. And it's juice he was kind of lacking last year, to be fair. I think when you're kind of playing with late shelf life running backs, sometimes they just are happening to have a better year. But I always felt like Latavius Murray was just a little underrated, especially in the 2020 season. I'm pretty sure he was that Denver Broncos win, which I know we all joke about. But even though they didn't have a quarterback playing, they still had to do something on the offense. And I was a little upset to see him get cut last year just because his durability has always stood out to me as well in a way that I don't think that room can offer. But it was just burst back there, consistently getting 7 yards, not getting wrapped up for a loss. I just think that he has really good vision and just really powerful legs, and he seems to really kind of know this offensive line intricately. I know Mark Ingram has kind of come back, but Latavius Murray's been around for a while too, and he just really, it was surprising how quickly he rejailed back in.
Actually, Maddy, I'm not sure you're aware, but so we have a drop on the show every time we say the name Latavius Murray. We play that drop.
I've heard that before.
You did a really pro job of just like head down, barreling right through it a couple of times, because a lot of times when people get hit with the Murray present for the first time, it throws them off their game. Like, that was a pretty pro job, so good on you for that. All right, unfortunately, I have to ask this. So Maddy Hudak is with us. She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. How in the world did Justin Jefferson have that kind of day against Lattimore? And Maddy, it's not just that he was making catches. These weren't even like contested catches. The separation was almost unthinkable. So what happened with that matchup on Sunday?
I just think if you kind of go back and look at the plays that resulted in those kind of big yardage plays, you can just kind of see a lot of differences. He was never really in press coverage when those plays kind of happened. And I watched Justin Jefferson go up against Debo on the line of scrimmage on the other side as well, because he was frequently that motion player. His short area quickness off the line of scrimmage, at that point, it kind of seemed like it was unmatchable. So when you gave him that ability to kind of eat up that cushion and then make a cut one way or the other, it just kind of seemed like they caught the cornerbacks off guard every single time. And you rarely see Lattimore again, get kind of burned that many times. But I also feel like those big plays kind of stick out, whereas he had some other catches, but it seemed more like a game plan that went really well, more so than Jefferson beating Lattimore one-on-one every time. I went back and noticed every single time Justin Jefferson was targeted but one time, and then once in the red zone, they were either in cover 3 or cover 4. And the ones that worked well, the Saints were in cover 4, and it got to the point where you would see kind of Jefferson go in motion. He'd have to kind of either bring that cornerback down with him, and I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins, I don't know if it's their offensive coordinator, but it just seemed like they kind of saw that sweet spot of that soft area between the underneath zones, that when you're in cover 4, you have less guys underneath. And if you're drawing someone with him in motion, it just honestly seems like they out-game planned with Jefferson a lot of the time. And then, quite frankly, those crossing routes, that's a blueprint that's been exposed at this point, that the Buccaneers have really shown how to beat the Saints across the middle of the field. You saw Carolina do it. And, yeah, there was a play that they kind of tripped over each other, but that's how kind of those other completions by Jefferson worked out. So good game planning, but also kind of at this point a weakness in that secondary.
So is it one last thing? Is it something where you would anticipate, because you just alluded to it there, that this is the third opponent now that's taken advantage of those crossing routes over the middle. Is that something that you would anticipate future opponents would look at and try to scheme against, or is this something that the Saints will notice on film and fix, have a correction to fix?
You have to think the Saints will see this on film. I really am very confident in that defensive unit. Just, again, when you look at where those plays happened and how much time of possession had gone one way or the other, I think they're really just kind of doing all they can. But a lot of plays you saw P.J. Williams, Justin Evans back at safety, and that's not the starting safety tandem. So I think really when Marcus May comes back into the fold, we don't see as much kind of cover 4 stuff. We haven't really seen any cover 2 lately, but I think getting him back as a personnel member, but other than that, I don't know even what you kind of see on film. It just kind of seems like they need to look at that Patriots Super Bowl NFL film where they figure out how to pick off the guy and just get something done at the line of scrimmage because they're getting caught in traffic all the time.
It's desperation mode for the Saints this week. That at 1-3, they cannot fall to 1-4 with what they have ahead on their schedule. So see if they can get right. She is Maddy Hudak. She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. She also is the the Tulane sideline reporter on the Tulane Radio Network and went super viral this weekend. Of course, Tulane wins on Friday night. Drama, and you just happen to be the person right there on the field who. All right, the Houston defender that rolled into you, did he wallop you or did he graze you?
So there's a lot, obviously, that happened in that very short period of time. I was celebrating. I had my microphone down, and then I realized, oh, my God, he's going to roll over the equipment. So I kind of went forward to save the microphone, and then his leg almost kind of like karate chopped me. So it actually wasn't that much of a hit as much as it was. He just kind of took my feet out from under me. So it didn't really hurt. I didn't actually even realize he hit me until people were sending me the video afterwards.
All right, we're going to show this for those who are watching who haven't seen it. You can find it anywhere, but I also would like to say that it was pretty graceful because while you did get knocked backwards, you didn't like fall over. You got a hand down. You didn't do the full barrel roll. So that was actually a pretty athletic play not to get completely dump trucked.
I think it was the combination of adrenaline, my ability to be spastic and agile at the same time, and trying to save the equipment, honestly.
I kind of did you wrong, too, because I took a screen grab and tweeted it, and I definitely tweeted, like, the non-graceful part of you going backwards, where I probably could have gotten a much better shot, so my apologies for that.
It looks like I was breakdancing. It's all good.
It kind of did. All right, she's Maddy Hudak. We appreciate the time, Maddy. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
All right, be well. She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. I probably should mention, because I know there's a lot of our audience, maybe our Baton Rouge audience, who isn't as familiar. Maddy is also a Southeast analyst and consultant for Next Gen PR, which does a ton of scouting, prospect scouting, and roster management. And she also graduated from the Scouts Academy. So basically, it's people that are learning how to scout football and obviously become front office personnel. So she's got a ton of experience and credentials as far as looking at film and scouting, game planning, all that sort of stuff. So we appreciate Maddy for joining us. We did that segment last week, and we had some great feedback. So a lot of people really enjoyed it. So invited Maddy back. We maybe try to make that sort of a regular Monday segment in hour 3, where we'll look at maybe a couple of things from the Saints game the day before, as she kind of goes back and looks at the film and lets us know what she saw on it. So we appreciate Maddy for a couple of minutes. All right, brought to you by Mold Zero USA. Appreciate Jim and the gang over at Mold Zero. Man, we've been talking up Mold Zero for about a month now. And, man, the response from all of you has been phenomenal. So thank you. And listen, I've told you my experience with Mold Zero. Jim's one of the most interesting guys that you'd ever want to meet in your life. Just a fascinating dude who, was born in California, had like 13 siblings, Air Force. During his time in the Air Force, was stationed in Biloxi and was kind of like did medical, delivered babies. And then obviously he's gone into a lot of disaster relief throughout his professional career. Was helping a lot of the first responders post 9/11. Came this way after the BP oil spill. So mold remediation has been a very natural fit for him. Jim has a patented, non-toxic, dry fog treatment that kills mold, eliminates odors, other pathogens as well. So you can go to mold-zero, spell it out, Z-E-R-O, mold-0USA.com. They service Greater Baton Rouge, Greater New Orleans, including the North Shore. So you go to the website, you'll see the phone number at the top of the page for either Baton Rouge or New Orleans. It's mold-0USA.com. That's mold-0USA.com. moldzero.com for Mold Zero USA. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. We'll knock out a quick break, man. Still a ton to do here. Otter Locks is coming up. We'll see what Jimmy's going to bet on here for Monday Night Football. We will get to our college football takeaways. What did we learn about from the college football weekend? We'll get to that when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. My goodness. Boy, when you wake up and the weather is just so nice. Like fall is here and it kind of hits you right in the face. It's a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. So you get on by and see. Listen, some of the fall decor is a little low, okay? Because you all have gone and swamped them and gotten it all as we head into these fall months. But the fall flowers have arrived. So they've got mums and petunias and pansies, snapdragons, perfect for fall color and that winter color. If you want to add that fall color, your earth tones, your browns and oranges and greens to your garden, you can do it right now. Also, stocked up. For all of you deer hunters, are stocked up on buckbusters, mobucks, rice brain, deer corn. They got it. There's still time to get your buckbusters planted. But when they sell through what they have in stock, that's it for the year. So make sure you get by any of the 4 nursery locations of Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So we know LSU will kick off at 11 a.m. On Saturday against Tennessee. We did find out today that LSU and Florida, a week from Saturday, is going to be a 6 o'clock kickoff there at the Swamp. So night game at the Swamp. should be a really, really cool environment. This probably also means that the Ole Miss game the following week is most certainly going to be a 2:30 game. When you look at the slate, the SEC slate for that weekend, there just isn't a whole lot. There already wasn't a whole lot of meat on the bone, but one thing that maybe could alter that, of course, if in the next 2 weeks, if LSU loses to Tennessee and Florida, it might drastically change the outlook of that game. But one thing that I do know is that CBS wants to be in Tiger Stadium at least once a year, and that would be an opportunity. They would obviously also have the opportunity to have LSU Alabama at 2:30 on CBS should they choose. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We started this last week, and we'll continue it throughout the college football season here in hour number 3. We'll run through our college football takeaways from the weekend. Muse, Paulie, and me. Hit it, Muse, if you would.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
All right, Muse, fire away first.
All right, yeah. Number one, Matt, Oklahoma might be bad.
Might be.
Well, yeah, they might be bad. I'm not all bought in on the Big 12, so maybe. Yeah, it's been a bad 2 weeks, right? The Kansas State loss is one thing. That's normally always close. What happened Saturday, TCU put up 55 points, 668 yards of total offense. It was Hanny and I on pregame just were watching in awe because it was all offense against a Brent Venables defense. No special team scores, no defense. They were not competitive. You got a big one with Texas this week. You really need it if you're Oklahoma.
Their loss last week beat them twice. They didn't get off the mat.
Clearly.
No cap gun?
We've never had that for this segment.
Okay. Paulie.
Ohio State, still dominant. They defeated Rutgers 49-10. Their star running back, Travion Henderson, didn't even play in this game. His backup, Mayan Williams, school record 5 rushing touchdowns and 189 yards on the ground.
Ooh, look at Paulie with the little stat drop right there. I dig it.
Needless to say, their star receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigbo, only has 4 catches on the season.
Kind of like Kayshawn.
Yep.
And USC, Jordan Addison. His numbers aren't super popping off either. Like the 3 biggest receiver names in the country are all kind of struggling a little bit. Wisconsin fired football coach Paul Chryst.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Wisconsin fired their football. Wisconsin.
They did. I saw that. I saw that yesterday. Yeah, for sure. We've kind of been looking for a spoiler in the Pac-12. We've talked a lot about USC potentially. I mean, really looking good to run the table. Is UCLA that spoiler? That's kind of the thing I'm wondering now. They're 5-0, veteran quarterback, veteran running back, but they played really nice defense against Michael Penix and Washington until garbage time when Washington scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that's when the majority of those numbers were put up. Can they spoil the party in the Pac-12? They do have to face USC, and that looks like it could be maybe a tougher hurdle right now than we gave it credit for previously.
Is it time to believe in TCU?
No.
No,
I agree.
Okay. Okay.
No, but I would love to hear your
They finished 5-7 last year.
I'm sorry, Paulie. You asked the question, I just answered.
The 4-0 this season. They racked up 668 yards of total offense against Oklahoma. That's about it.
Sonny Dykes. Good offensive coach.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk. They're winning this weekend against TCU. I'm calling it.
Wisconsin fired Paul Chryst. Wisconsin fired their coach that won 3 division titles, had 3 top 15 finishes, and won 72% of his games. Wisconsin fired Paul Chryst.
Is Clemson back? 2 impressive
Did
wins.
they leave?
Last year they won the
won 10
ACC
games.
championship.
They won 10 games.
They won 10-3, didn't win the ACC championship, really struggled at quarterback. You had people asking, is this the end of the Clemson dynasty? So now I'm asking, is Clemson back? Shootout against Wake Forest. You win a totally different game against a top 10 team at home. The defense you know is real, but DJ Uiagalelei playing really solid. He's playing solid, man. He was the guy everyone was looking at last year. Clemson, watch out.
Yeah, I don't think they ever left.
Others would disagree, Matt.
I don't care. I said, I don't think they ever left.
Well,
you asked me.
I just asked the general population.
You looked at me and you said, is Clemson back?
I was looking forward.
You were looking right at me.
You're in front of me. I'm just looking forward.
Well, you were looking at me and you said, is Clemson back? And I said, I don't think they ever left. I just like I answered Paul's question earlier.
It's hypothetical, kind of. Not really.
My turn?
Yes, Paul. It's your turn.
UConn can win.
Okay. See, now that's a takeaway. That's not a question. Okay. All right.
They beat Fresno over the weekend. Did you know it's been 1,050 days?
Wait, hang on. I'm bad at math. Let me write this down. Go ahead.
1,050 days since they won against an FBS school.
Look at Paulie with the research.
Digging in his bag over there, man.
Drops over here.
They are 2-4 in the season, but their only other win came against Central Connecticut.
So it's been like 3 years. Yeah?
Yeah.
3 seasons, I guess. 1,365 days. I'm not good at math. Have to be, right? When was it, Paulie? Was it the 2020 season?
2017, I believe.
No, that can't be right.
That's more than 1,000 days.
Yeah, that's more. No. Now you're going too far. 1,000 days would be like 3 years or 2.5 years. A little less than 3 years. 365 days in a year.
Right.
So like 1,000 days would be like almost 3 years. 3 years ago would be like 2019.
True. It was against UMass.
Okay.
2019.
Oh, they're terrible too.
Okay.
The Minutemen
Their
are really
last
bad.
upset was 2017.
Well, okay, last upset. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Last upset was 2017. It's my turn.
Yeah, your last one.
My last move. Yeah. Wisconsin fired Paul Chryst in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I am so big on being self-aware in life. Know what you are. Like, I'm a 6-foot chubby bald man. I'm never walking a runway. I know that. I know who I am and what I am. Wisconsin, know what you are in life. You're never going to be Alabama. You're never going to be Ohio State. You're never going to be LSU or Georgia or USC. You are Wisconsin. Own that and be good at that. Paul Chryst is quintessential you. Hell, he went to your school. Not that that matters. But I get it. Like, you lost 3 bad games this year. I get it. You lost 3 bad games this year. You're Wisconsin. You don't fire Paul Chryst. You want to know what's next? Ask Nebraska. Bo Pelini won 9 games a year. Not good enough. They ran him out. What's happened since? Go back to Frank Solich. Played for a Natty. Year later, he won 9 games. They ran him out of town. How's that worked out for the last 20 years? Good luck, Wisconsin. Good luck. Good luck finding someone that wants that job given what you just ran out of town. Wisconsin. Hey, bro. Like, I don't care how much you drink. Some chicks at the bar, they're always going to be a 6. They're never going to be a 10. Wisconsin, you're like a 5.5 on a good day. It's okay. You got a great personality, and you're going to get a good job, and you're super smart. But, like, don't put on that super tight thing. That ain't for you. I can say that. I'm a fat, bald guy. I know. I live it every day. All right. Wisconsin firing Paul Chryst. Unbelievable. Of all the stories I thought I would see this morning, that was not one of them. All right. Otterlock's next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south. The campus Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tonight and every Monday is Monday Night Football and all-you-can-eat wings. So an awesome time. You get the Rams against the Niners. Rematch of the NFC Championship game, and you can go watch it at Pluckers and pay one low price and eat as many wings as you want all night long. Every single Monday at Pluckers, all-you-can-eat wings. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Man, wall-to-wall TVs, what more could you possibly want? Pay one low price, eat as many wings as you want all night long while you watch Rams, Niners tonight at Pluckers. And all week, they got great things going on. Trivia every Wednesday night. Make sure your football Saturday, your football Sunday, you set up shop at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime. Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment, Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and of an incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matt. How about you, bud?
Man, I'm doing well. Hoping for a winner chicken dinner tonight on a little Monday Night Football.
Yeah. This is one of my 5-packs yesterday on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday. So 2-2 yesterday, and closing it out with a little recency bias. And you know how I feel about those standalone games. Everybody saw how San Francisco would struggle against Denver. Everybody, if you ever on Twitter, if you were on Twitter that Sunday night, boy, you were getting it. Everybody was aggravated at how bad that game was played. and we saw Jimmy G kind of roaming out the back of the end zone. So everybody's anti-Frisco right now. I love making a round to the sportsbook and that just saying, what? San Francisco's favored over the Rams? Yes, indeed. Give me San Francisco minus the 2. Going back and forth from 1.5 to 2. It's like 2 right now at Bet River. So that's what we're doing with the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G at home, where they swept this home and home last year against the Rams.
All righty. Otto, where are you tonight, man?
Rouge Creole, Dan and Perkins Road.
Great spot in Perkins Road. Go see the Otter over at Rouge Creole. Hanny's in tonight as well. Otter, we appreciate it. I hate to say let's go Niners, but let's go Niners tonight and see if we can cash a ticket, man. So
let's go, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Otter. All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com with Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Muse, what did you learn today?
We are not a math show.
We are not a math show. Polly, what did you learn today?
That's also what I learned.
That?
Wisconsin fired Paul Chris.
Yes, they did.
Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. So it's October. So, of course, it is the month of Halloween. So they have a lot of blood-related specials. PRP for hair restoration. This is non-surgical hair restoration. Got it discounted this month. And also vampire facials. This is PRP with microneedling. It's a great way to restore your skin, your face, tighten and tone, remove some of those skin spots as well. Check it out, The Aesthetic Medicine. You get buy 2, get 1 free this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, they can help. Simple blood test can let you know if hormone replacement therapy is right for you. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.